She had 2 million followers when I cast her. I had no idea, that she had, that she was an actor and that she was doing work. Everybody on set is treated kind of equally. Fair working hours, but making things as tightly as possible. Fresh actors, I really feel, are much easier. A child from a so-called nepo kid coming into the industry, they have a certain kind of baggage that they cannot avoid. I've seen how hard, how equally difficult sometimes their journey is. Obstacles that they have are different. In today's world, people want to discover. They want to discover talent. So our film actually ran for very long. So like people discovered the film on Netflix and then went to the cinemas also to watch it. But I'm working hard. I'm actually very keen to make something quickly. No director wants to sit around not making films. So the Academy of Films in Japan gave Lapata Ladies the International Film Award.
She's like a Halley's Comet. She comes once in a decade or so. But then the work that she brings, the echoes of it reverberates like for so long that you cannot ignore it at all, no matter in which corner of the world you are at. And I think it's the result of that reverberation that even after almost 2 years of Lapata Ladies having completed its journey, it's still kind of getting all the accolades. And I think winning is not the right word. Sweeping is the word which we shall use, because I think that is what it has been doing, and very deservedly so. So I'm very excited as I'm joined for my first conversation ever with Kiran Rao. So firstly, ma'am, welcome to H3 City and congratulations again.
Thank you, Akash. What an amazing intro.
Arre.
I don't think I've had a better intro than this in my life.
Thank you so much. I work very hard on my intro.
Wow.
I work very hard on my intros. But I had to start by saying, like, as I said, like, it's been almost 2 years since the journey of the film started, but it's still getting the recognition. It's still making that noise, and it's still kind of so alive in the minds of people. Somewhere do you feel that, right, that you created something that has tested the test of time?
I mean, how amazing is that for anyone who makes any piece of work? Today, in the viral universe that we are, you could be literally popular for 30 seconds and be the talk of the town for a week. And to have made a film that people are talking about not just 2 years later, have really, I feel people's connection with the film was obviously, the film has gone to people and it's out of my hands. And the way people are responding to it is, for me, always like, it's an award every day and I meet people on the street. You know, it's amazing to see a film have this response. I am beyond grateful. I don't think any words can actually encapsulate how I feel about how people have responded to this film.
Yeah. But do you feel like the proud mama bear when you see that all three actors, they started the journey, kind of film journey with this film, and they have catapulted into this whole, what we call the mainstream market as well, and getting all the kind of work that one would have envisioned. They are the talk of the town, and they are kind of getting that deserved work. Somewhere that proud mama bear feeling comes in.
Absolutely. I feel delighted. Nitanshi was 15 when we were shooting. So now is finally, I think, an adult. I'm hoping.
Yeah, she is.
Kahin jaake abhi ho gaya 18. So, no, absolutely. It's wonderful to see they're great talent. And I genuinely believe that there's so much talent out there that I feel almost pressure that every film I need to be presenting new people to the world, to cinema, because why should we not? You know, why, especially when you have stories that give you the freshness of this person that you feel is 100% meant for this role, you know. And these actors are, I think, meant for very big things. So I'm really happy that they're very deservedly getting their, big film roles now.
Yeah. But as you said, you like to work with new people. What is the advantage of working with new talents? Because somewhere you also get to mold them, but somewhere also be the force behind somewhere the successes and failures as well.
You know, I think it's the ability to surprise oneself and to surprise an audience. Actors who have never been seen before will take you on a journey, perhaps that would be different than an actor that you are very sure is an amazing actor and will give you something wonderful in performance. You know, it helps me also. It feels like I'm working with a new piece of clay. Like you said, you can mold them the way you want. Also, it's easier to kind of take characters that especially if my films are all set in very real world scenarios, to take actors that need to feel very everyday people from your everyday life, who don't have a public face, and then can very easily fit the character that you're creating. Also, I look for, when I'm casting, I look for like something very internal and personal to an actor, and I feel like there needs to be some, I don't know, magnetic connection between that person, the actor, and the character itself. And for that, often you do need to look for someone new, because I don't, maybe that, of course, there are big actors who would have played all these roles really well. But there's something about finding someone who just can, like you feel a soul connection between like for instance, Nitanshi and Thul, like when she said the lines, it just came out of her mouth the way a young woman would say, हम लड़कियों को क्यों कुछ सिखाते नहीं, क्यों घर पे बिठा के रखते हैं. That kind of curiosity that a young person, a young woman feels, it came very naturally from her. Pratibha, for instance, literally has almost the same trajectory as Jaya. She didn't run away, but she went away from home with some opposition, wanting to come to the film industry when she was 18 years old. Didn't know anybody, like set out literally on her own. And that kind of informs performance, I feel.
Yeah. And in today's time, now, when we speak so much about like big stars bringing their huge entourages and like this kind of all the discussions that happen, somewhere it also helps having these new talents because they don't come with any of that baggage also.
Absolutely. Organically, they just fit the scenario of an independent film. And I make films even if the budgets have grown, like let's say from Dhobi Ghat to this, budgets have grown. But in spirit, my filmmaking is very independent. The idea being that everybody on set is treated kind of equally. We really believe in, kind of having fair working hours, but making things as tightly as possible with as few resources possible, trying not to be wasteful. Kind of indie director from that era. And fresh actors, I really feel, are much easier following some of those rules.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel with these three people that you started their journey with, and you have seen an industry-related debut happening in your home also with Junaid. So when you see the audience's perception and kind of how they are treated or how they are received, what's the difference you observed when it comes to the audience when they perceive these two different background of people?
You know, when you have a child from a so-called Nepo kid coming into the industry, they have a certain kind of baggage that they cannot avoid. They are constantly looked at through the lens of privilege, that they're getting there with all the kinds of shortcuts that other kids don't have, saying that other children, have to work harder. And I understand that, but in most cases, I mean, and I now know so many film families, I've seen how hard, how equally difficult sometimes their journey is. And actually, the obstacles that they have are different. They may not be worse or better, but they're different obstacles, and they're the obstacles of perception. And you see, in the case of a new actor, any other new actor, there is no perception of you, and people are willing to grow with you, understand your strengths, love you for your weaknesses. Whereas they come at a Nepo kid with a very, very different set of perceptions and expectations. So those are, I think, things that any child from a film family has to kind of deal with. And often, ultimately, your work will speak for itself. I mean, either you've done work that people appreciate or not. And many times it takes, say a film family child, many films in order to become successful. Some become successful within one film. And that's the journey of most in front of the camera film family children that we've seen.
Yeah. But also in building on what you said, I think we talk about opportunities, and that is a different discussion. And I'm not siding with anyone, but we know how it works out. But somewhere, do you feel making a mark becomes easier for an outsider in today's time, especially in the last 5 years, because somewhere there's no perception for them, which has been built before. So even if equally good star kid or an outsider will give a performance, the outsider has a more chance to make a mark.
I actually agree. I also feel that in today's world, people want to discover. They want to discover talent. They actually don't like to be told that this person. I mean, they have a curiosity about stars and their children, but in order to make a person a star, they feel like they feel responsible to actually make a person a star. And honestly, I feel there's a conversation here to talk about the death of stardom in some ways. There is no star system, I feel. I mean, and maybe I'm not the right person to ask because I'm not a very popular film kind of junkie. But I feel stars are now being found in the, by star, I mean people with following, people who people look forward to seeing their work. It could be a reel, it could be a series, it could be a film, it could be a director. I think that those are the new stars, people whose work is being followed more closely, and sometimes it won't be somebody even you and I know, because everybody has their own little sort of echo chambers and following. And sometimes, like Nitanshi had 2 million followers when I cast her. I had no idea, that she had, that she was an actor and that she was doing work. So, that's also now the new world. I feel stardom, the idea of stardom has changed.
Yeah. Personal opinion, I feel it has become very diluted today because now these factors are determining what stardom is, which somewhere is not related to what you are doing, but it's all about the peripheries. It's not because still today, why Shah Rukh, Salman, Amir are those three big stars where people, there's no denying of that. There's no, and they never came up with this following. Their stardom was purely built on their work. So somewhere that pure stardom has somewhere vanished, and I don't think we can get it back because the world is now working on those algorithms. So somewhere very rightfully said that there has been a death of stardom. There's a new definition of it, new reinvention, but how it performs, let's see. But after Lapata Ladies this year, when Homebound also got to the shortlist for the Oscar, somewhere these small town stories are becoming the representation of India on a global platform. As people are kind of relating to it, and the jury who is sitting, they are finding it the perfect representation of it. So why do you think is it happening? Because last year when RRR was there, it was a grand film, but the jury still did not select it. It was still a small town stories. Why do you think is it that they are finding the right representation of India in these small town stories?
That's a really interesting question. I honestly believe that somewhere we've had, big commercial cinema move away maybe from stories of our villages, of our small towns, of the struggles of, farmers and working class people and things like that. And it's quite interesting that you bring it up, because across the years, you're right, the juries have chosen these stories to represent India because, to be honest, they feel perhaps more authentic representations of a broader mass of this country. They're also telling unusual stories because they are going to small towns or villages, or choosing backdrops that are not typical for commercial films. So I feel like it's a great move because it helps people sort of discover the many kinds of cinema we have in India, and many kinds of stories actually that can be very valid and happen at the same time. You'll have, things going to Mars and, big kind of grand weddings in this country. But that's not the only story of India. There's a story of a farmer. There's a story of, migrant workers. There's a story of women getting lost. There's, so I think it feels like an authentic sort of image of many kinds of India that we have.
And there's one commonality when I see like both the films that sweep the Filmfare, like Lapata Ladies and Kill, and now Homebound also I'll include in this, that they all got accolades, they all got international acclaim, but box office somewhere did not kind of turn into that big of a number. Why do you think there's this discrepancy between that a film that is appealing to masses worldwide, but it's not appealing to the masses of India when it comes to paying for a ticket and going to the box office to see it?
I think that's a complex question. That's actually because of a change, I think, in theatrical watching habits. People are going less and less. I know it of myself. They need a very strong reason to go to a cinema because so many things just come within 8 weeks to their TV screens. It's easy enough sometimes for people to find it whenever, but when they feel the pressure of, say, the idea that one, through marketing, they know something is coming, and that builds up a certain kind of pressure and excitement. And the second is when word of mouth builds up. So our film actually ran for very long, ran for 100 days, which is unusual for most films. And it actually ran in cinemas while it was on Netflix. So it actually, the footfalls in cinemas went up after Netflix, which is a very unusual thing to happen. So it's like people discovered the film on Netflix and then went to the cinemas also to watch it. So people have told me that they've gone and watched it 2 or 3 times because they saw it on Netflix, they went to the cinema, things like that. So it's when you have no actors, or new actors, both Lakshya was pretty new, my cast was unknown. That pressure to go and sample a film in a cinema, which is sometimes inconvenient, it's definitely expensive for a family to go to see films today. Those reasons are why you wait to hear about a film, you wait to know ki jana chahiye nahi, because it's a financial consideration as well, as well as convenience.
Yeah, and you are a producer also, so you also kind of have to think about those finances. And somewhere, I remember one thing that Karan Johar recently said, that he's a different context, but somewhere it also applies, is that because he also has to think of profits, he has to maybe think twice before backing an indie film like a Home Bum. Somewhere, do you feel it also becomes then difficult for those indie films to get that wider reach, because somewhere when they are not making money, then the investment in those indie films also become less in turn. That's a kind of like a vicious cycle.
This has been the case from the beginning of film onwards. There's a reason there's a mainstream commercial film that is mounted in a certain way, has a certain language and syntax. And then there's the grammar of the indie film where you're being honest to your material, you're taking risks in storytelling. All those things end up meaning that you have to cut your cloth very carefully. You have to make the film within a certain kind of budget, and you will always be up against a market sort of resistance because you're posing, you're kind of offering something different. And people are always scared to sample something new and different. So indie films will almost always have that journey. They will be perhaps smaller in budget, they'll be more risk taking, but that's why they will go on sometimes to have longer shelf life, be discovered online, go on to become iconic, in future terms. So it's, I don't know whether producers will very naturally shift to these smaller, more risk taking films because they all want to make money. I'm now a producer, I know the risks involved, but I do think that having made 2 smaller, more independent films in my life, that there is a way, both my films were profitable, and there is a way to be profitable. I mean, there's a ecosystem for independent films. There's of course, the festival route. There's ways that you do sales internationally. There's ways now, I think. Of course, OTT is a big option for us, but also there's ways to do platform releases. I was just an EP on a film called Humans in the Loop, which was a very small independent film on AI and, the sort of what AI and where AI, the biases in AI can come from. And that is the kind of film that actually is very hard to put in cinemas. But we did manage to have a small theatrical run across the country. And the film continues to play in different places through, more decentralized, more smaller screens. So there is a way in which one can do it. And many of us who make independent films are aware of the shortcomings, but we know also how to circumvent them.
Yeah, but I'm very on a very positive side. I feel like in the last 2 years especially, so many indie films have become part of those mainstream discussion. Be it Lapata Ladies, All We Imagine Is Light, Homebound, Jugnuma, and like all when these become a part of those mainstream discussion, I think some it pushes also gives them a push
Yeah.
and also motivates the decision makers also to somewhere back those films. And you have been doing that for a long time, and I'm sure I want to ask you, when is this the next time we gonna see this Halley's Comet? I hope not as long as it took between Peeply Live and
Now you've given me a standard timeline. With calling me a comet, it scientifically follows that timeline. No, but I'm working hard. I'm actually very keen to make something quickly. No director wants to sit around not making films. But actually, films make me as I'm going along. Wow, I just coined something. I just thought of it. But it's true. Films make me because I feel changed. I feel I grow when I make films, and I make films that I deeply love and I'm interested in what they convey. So I'm hoping that a film will make me soon.
Yeah, and I have to ask you, because Lapata Ladies have got so many awards, and I'm not just talking about the physical awards that have come its way, it has been in tremendous ways, different ways also. What has been the biggest award for you for this?
Oh, wow. So honestly, the biggest award is, I feel it every day, is if I step outside my house. There's rarely a day that goes by when somebody or the other, or sometimes multiple people, have come to me and told me how much they've been impacted by the film. That, to me, I don't think anything can change that. I mean, if I go to an airport, it's almost like impossible, because people feel like they're connected to me, they can talk to me, and they come and tell me why they love the film. And that is my daily award. But one of the awards that truly surprised me, and I was really interested when I got it, was the International Film Award by the Japanese Academy. So the Academy of Films in Japan gave Lapata Ladies the International Film Award, which I was very delighted and surprised by, because we had a theatrical release in Japan. It ran for almost 6 months in Japan, and we got an Academy Award there. So it's wonderful, because you realize that this film, really, people can relate to this film pretty much anywhere. Especially women connect with this film across the world, which is a great, I don't know. It's a great joy for me to know.
And I think like Japan has become like the new market for Indian films. Earlier it used to be China, and now it's China and Japan.
Yeah.
I think all the kind of connection, I think the Asian community, I don't know, they are banding together to kind of promote.
We are the future. I mean, Asia, South Asia, we are the future. I genuinely believe of most art forms, but definitely of cinema.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to ask you, like, amongst all these awards, was there a little disappointment when Lapata Ladies did not get shortlisted for Oscars?
There was a lot of disappointment. Yes, I have to tell you, I was sad, but you know, that journey taught me so much, and there was so much appreciation in every screening that we did. So it was a bit of a shock, to be honest. We were like quite sure, and it didn't happen. So you don't actually know internally what the voting system is and how things work, but we were really optimistic, and we learned a lot, and we got a lot of appreciation. So that's what we took away from it.
But like Beckett has stated, I think it suffices for any other award, physical, non-physical, anything. But thank you so much, ma'am, for this conversation. My first time talking to you. I hope it's
the first of many. Don't be a Halley's Comet.
No, I will not be. But thank you so much. Hope you had a good time, because I had a great one.
I loved it.
Thank you so much, and wish you lots of love and luck for everything you do.
Thank you.
Hopefully lesser time. With the next one. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, HT City.